Got Neal Atkinson with us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, bookmaker extraordinaire at BetSaracen's, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. When you want to put a little wager on your favorite sporting event, BetSaracen's right there on your phone. If you got an Apple iPhone, you can download from the App Store. Android users use Google Play. BetSaracen.com in a web browser. Neal, traveling. Where are you and what's going on there?
Well, it's a shame. I'm in sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida today. The conference,
shame.
the big SBC conference wrapped up, but it is a little bit of a shame because if I wasn't down here, I'd probably be in Fayetteville last night, today, and tomorrow, as this is an interesting series for me, not only as a bookmaker but also as a fan. It is a little gut wrenching. I am from Tennessee, and I know we kind of snapped one off from you last night, but it's always interesting how there's always some sort of dynamic whenever Tennessee and Arkansas play, especially with the history of DVH and Tony Vitello, and it's great to see. And hey, I just look at it this way: I can't lose as a fan on either one of these games because whoever wins, I'm happy for either one. But that's college baseball for you, and it's a great time of year.
Arkansas is still one of the two favorites on BetSaracen, not just to make the College World Series, but to win the thing when they get there. Plus 600. LSU is also plus 600. And the Hogs are only one of only four teams on BetSaracen that are in minus territory in terms of the betting odds for making it to the College World Series. Tennessee's minus 115, LSU's minus 150, Georgia minus 115, and the Razorbacks are minus 200. It says your bettors right now, Neal, are really, really confident in the Hogs getting there.
Yeah, and I think that has to go back to with the hitting and the pitching of this year, and when they get into tournament mode, and especially when the regionals start, it's a little bit of a different game in the playoffs. Because the first rounds, depending on who your matchup is, but. Yeah, there's a lot of confidence just based on the roster with Arkansas. And again, those odds, I didn't set those odds. I mean, the opening odds came out earlier this year, but it's where everybody is putting their money is changing, is where those odds are going. And it doesn't necessarily line up with the polls. And I forget how many different polls there are for baseball. And, a couple of times this year, they were wildly different. So, and I think there's a lot of differences in them now. But it's interesting to see where the people put their money and what that does to the odds, and it's fun.
There's 5 polls in college baseball in the year. That's probably 4 too many. And truthfully, the only polls I care about are the ones that have bright yellow that I refer to as fair polls.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? Maybe it's time for another fair poll special tonight for Arkansas, and maybe that will turn it. Because Tennessee tonight. I know yesterday it was to be determined on the pitching. Sounds like a little gamesmanship was going on yesterday, but Tennessee is they're a favorite tonight in this game. So
Aiden Jimenez has been announced as the starting pitcher. So that's usually where the odds. How much in college baseball? Because I know in Major League Baseball, a lot of it's going to be the pitching matchup. How much of that in college baseball is the odds built on too? Is it the same?
To be honest with you, because there's not as much data and not as much attention on college baseball, and believe me, that was a huge topic with the 12 different vendors that we had doing presentations for us, for our data rights next year. They seem to just put it out and then let the money move it where the market is, not necessarily with the pitchers. But when a few people start betting and when some key people make their moves, the people that industry knows, sharps, and monitor, we see when they put their money, then that's how we adjust. I mean, it's no secret that the data collection for the NCAA is more of a challenge than it is for the pros. So, and it's part of the reason why we had a kind of a couple of rough months earlier this year is because, I mean, the players were up on us on college baseball and until really the conference play started, and that's how tough it is. And trying to find a data provider that can put out good, reliable lines. But the players weren't too mad at us for not being able to have real good lines as far as our operational efficiency. But the college game is a lot different than Major League Baseball, especially. There's some huge competition differences, but when we got into conference play, it leveled out, and we've seen what's happened.
What's the conference that you're attending? It sounds like this is the kind of thing where just great ideas are hatched and pushed out towards some of the other betting apps across the country. So we may see some new options on BetSaracen from this conference.
Absolutely. We May 8th, we started our third year of operation online. Of course, we already had sports books, retail, and the casino before that, since we opened even in the small annex before we were in the big building. But the innovation with just not online sportsbook, but the online gaming space, from everything from payments to fraud protection, protecting customers' accounts, data protections, and all of that, the non-sexy stuff about running the sports book. But our key focus for this trip is to make sure that we had the right data deals, the right streaming content where it makes sense for our sites, and we are shopping for somebody that does the NCAA a lot better. And when I'm talking about a lot better, not margin-wise, just to produce the content so that when we do have these betting markets and live games, we have the data and the markets available. It just blows my mind, and I was able to give my current vendor a lot of grief in their presentation because they're trying to win our business again. And I gave them an example of last night's games, and right now tonight's game, there is not a scout, and because of the latency issue, they cannot put a live game on it. But yesterday we had Quinnipiac and another team that maybe had couple of hundred people in the stands. We had live coverage on that one, but a marquee game like Tennessee-Arkansas last night, that stadium full, ramming and jamming, we didn't have that. And that's kind of embarrassing when our name is on the dugout, the casino's name is on the dugout, and you want to make a bet during the game and you can't. But it wasn't just us. You couldn't bet it live anywhere, and that's one of the things that we demanded in our proposals for next year, especially in baseball and frankly all NCAA major sports. And it looks like that we really got their attention, and the place where we are in the marketplace with our market share gave us that leverage to demand that if they want our business. When we first started this, we were begging people because the sports books were coming online, and nobody knew who was going to be a player in the space. But with where we are in the marketplace now, people are knocking our door, begging for us to give them their business, and it puts us in a really good spot. Competition is good, and the player, we're going to benefit from it, but more often than not, more importantly is that the players are going to benefit from it because we're going to have the content that they want and they deserve. And we're going to surprise maybe even some of the national operators with some of the things that we've got going on, because one of the operators is one of the vendors is proposing us be the test bed for this. And if we can cover Arkansas a lot better, we're going to do it.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Bet online, the game starts here.